Merry Christmas and welcome everyone to my 1 hour Mama Lotties special. Now we've all had a fantastic Christmas time, and if you haven't got enough food already, well, tonight's going to be even better for you because we have a really special New Year's episode. I'm joined today by my two very special ladies in my life. It's Mama 1 and Mama 2, also known as Mama Lotties and Mummy Lorraine. So we're going to kickstart this menu. It's going to be a massive feast. So let's show you the recipe, ingredients, and we can get started. First up, to kick off this festive feast, I'm going to prepare a deliciously simple French onion soup that'll warm up your heart on those chilly nights. It's time to start with a starter, which is now where I'm going to take over, and it's going to be the French onion soup which we've made at home, which we've had every New Year, and I think it's almost everyone's favourite when they go out as well. Yeah. So it's really, really simple. We're going to start with melting some butter, about a dollop more or less, and we're going to let that melt in there. Whilst that's melting, if you haven't already, you can start slicing some onions. I've already sliced the onions here, so we'll just wait for this to melt, and then we're going to fry them together. And we're going to season this. We're going to add some thyme to this. We're going to add beef stock. So I've got 2 cubes of beef stock with this, and salt and pepper. When this is ready, we're going to put it in the oven, but I'll give you step by step as we do it. So the butter's melted away. We're going to add in the onions. So I've got about 2 onions.
Two large onions.
I've got 2 onions in here, 2 large ones. I've sliced them instead of diced them because we want to see the slices. It's going to be the onion soup. You want to make sure that you see the onions. You can even add a bit of garlic if you want to this as well, like 1 or 2 cloves, but I'm not going to add it this time. So we're going to let this fry away. I'm going to season it with some salt and a bit of thyme because I want this to get the flavour whilst it's frying.
Do you put the pepper?
The pepper I put it afterwards, once, because I like to judge more or less because the beef stock is already sort of seasoned with everything.
And the beef stock
I don't want to overdo it.
Salty, no?
Yeah. This is going to take a couple of minutes to cook and fry.
Until it's nice and soft, no?
Yeah, you can see what we don't want to do is we do not want to burn the onions.
No.
So it's better to cook it sort of slowly, keep an eye on it and move it and let it do its thing rather than just leave it and let it burn because then there's no saving it afterwards. Yeah. This is not entirely my own recipe because it's really inspired by you. Okay, this is something that you used to make when we grew up, no?
You loved it. You always loved it.
Yeah.
You have adapted it to your own recipe as well. You've added
my own liking.
Yeah, you've added the thyme, which I never used to add.
It's a great soup, especially for winter. No? It's very warm, especially like for when you have it like in Sunday roasts, like to give it a starter as well.
And it's quite filling as well.
Yeah.
Because then you have the French bread on it and the cheese as well.
Well, no, we're not doing. What we're going to do is a baguette. We're going to slice the baguette, lay it on top of the cazuela dish, and then cover it in cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the touch. Everything with the melted cheese. Okay, can't go wrong with that. Mama, this is now sweat. All the onions you can see are translucent. They've changed a bit of colour. So before this starts to burn, I'm going to add in the water. So if you don't mind pouring the water, it's about a litre.
Say when.
Yeah, we're going to cover all the onions because that's going to be basically the soup that we're going to consume. Now we need to add in the stock. Crush in 2 stock cubes.
That changes the colour as well of the soup.
Yeah.
And the flavour, obviously.
Yeah, it's going to give it like that sort of beefy, over the side type of taste, which we love.
Nice. Now it's looking like the French onion soup, huh?
Yeah.
That's
and
the colour.
You can smell it as well, which is perfect. So I'm going to add in some pepper at this point because now what we want to do is give it spice with the pepper, like earthy spice to go with the whole beef, but we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to burn our mouth whilst we're eating this. We want to enjoy it and let it warm you up from the inside out.
Perfect for a cold day.
Exactly, now because it's really wintry, that's ideal. So this has been stewing away for like at least 5-10 minutes now. We just want the onions, the stock, everything to get the flavour together. Now it's time to pass this into the little cazuelas, which is going to be what we're going to serve.
Yep.
So,
I've got the ladle here.
yes please.
So I'll pass you one.
So I'm going to try and get as much of everything as I can. Whilst I'm pouring this, if you can cut some bread for me, we're going to lay this on top and put some cheese, and then we're going to just finish it off in the oven, where it's going to grill, it's going to melt, the final touch, which is going to be amazing. So we've poured out all the different bowls. We've had enough soup for about 3 people with about a litre of water that we used. So you've got about 2 pieces of bread in each. If you really wanted to add 3, you could put 3 in the middle.
I think, but 2 is
I'm just gonna
enough. I
squeeze them
think.
Yeah.
together.
You put 3, it's going to be too much.
Yeah. And we finish it off with the cheese. Now I've got some mozzarella just because it's going to go really stringy when it melts. This is up to you. You can add any type of cheese you
Yeah.
want.
Cheddar is nice as well.
Yeah.
Cheddar is nice, or you can even, if you really want a potent cheese, just add some parmesan or something. Right, so this is going to go into the oven now. We're going to leave about 10 minutes or so.
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we just want the cheese to melt completely. All 3 are going to go in the oven at 180 degrees, and we'll check on it just to make sure it's not burning.
Okay.
Good. The soup's been in there for a while. I can really smell that cheese and the onions. So I
smells
think
lovely.
it's time that we check it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yummy.
That
Now
looks
that-
delicious.
Does
Qué
it?
bueno.
So I think it's time
And
that we dig in.
smells- Yep.
We can give it a try.
It's going to be very hot.
It is going to be really hot.
You've got to be careful. The granny goes first.
Perfect.
Buenísimo está.
And the cheese anyway is always a bit salty también, so there's a
It's
lot
got
of
that
salt in there.
sweet flavor as well, eh?
Yeah.
And the onions. Qué bueno.
And that's a perfect starter to this sort of meal that we've done.
Yeah.
Everyone can try it. It's really simple to do. Takes no time at all. I think it's at the most taken us 20 minutes
Yeah.
because of the onions frying. Next up, Mama Lottie herself takes the reins and prepares her amazing clams and delicious nutty Caracoles sauce. An amazing fusion of fresh shellfish and spicy earthy sauce. This one's a real classic at home.
We've steamed the clams
Yeah.
so that if it got any sand in it, it will go down.
Right.
That's clean. We've grounded the almonds and the walnuts, the anchovies, the fried bread,
Okay.
and the parsley. And then we're going to chop the tomatoes, the garlic, and the onion, and we make a refrito.
Yeah.
Once that is all poached, add all the ingredients, and when it's done, we'll just put the clams
That's
in.
the last thing we pass into there.
That's it.
Well, this is a walnuts and almond sauce
Yeah.
covered.
Well, we've got
large
the
clams.
spices also. We use the one that we call for the caracoles, the salsa de
The
caracoles.
salsa caracoles,
They
yeah.
come down, you buy them in the market. You just ask for it and they just give it to you. So we've also put some chili,
Yeah.
2 or 3, so that it makes it nice and spicy.
Right. So what's the first step for this?
We put some oil.
Okay.
So now we're going to chop the tomatoes, the onion and the garlic,
Okay.
so that we do a refrito.
This is going to be very finely chopped.
Yep.
This dish is very popular, like I said, in the family. You know, that every year
is.
you do it at least 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And we always have people that make sure they come to the house, make sure that they
And if they can't
make a
come,
trip, yeah.
they come with the Tupperware, they send it, and
tell.
they take it.
they send it with someone, say, here, fill it up, please. It's quite spicy, but it's nutty, it's
It's
a bit of
delicious.
everything.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. And we made it with concha fina as well in the past.
Yeah, but the small ones. What happened is that now is not the time to get the concha finas, because they only have the very small ones, and if you use the small one, that you don't let them grow,
Right.
so they can multiply. So we need to.
So ethically, it's not good to
no,
buy them now. You're not meant to buy them now.
that's why they don't bring it. It's against the law. We put the saffron in the pot
Yeah.
so that it just fries a bit, just
Right.
toast it, and then we add the garlic and the onions.
Okay.
Now we chop the tomatoes
Last time we chopped them quite chunky. This time we're going to cut them really
bit.
small.
a bit smaller.
But the idea is basically to have the almond and anchovy base to the
Yeah.
dish. Well,
And
almond
that-
and walnuts. But
Almonds and walnuts. I
Yeah.
put both things. You can do it with one, obviously.
it's all
or
equal
one
measurements.
kind. Yeah, more or less. You know me. Cooking, baking I measure, but cooking
It's all done by eye.
is just a handful of this and a handful of the other.
I know.
No, I think everybody does that thing, no, more or less. You're used to doing it. Let's put it all together here. Start clearing, because it takes a lot of sauce. Now the onions and the garlic already done, so we're going to put all the
Tomatoes.
tomatoes on.
Okay.
Let me do it. It's too heavy for me.
With the water and everything.
See, everything is a juice from the tomato. It's not water, it's
No.
the one that brings. That's
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Now we do a refrito with
Right.
the tomato, the garlic and the onions. Give me the salt, please.
Okay, and the tomatoes, what are they going to do? They're going to just fry and cook up and
See, they've gone all
soften,
like,
no?
see, like we poaching it, no? Che te pochaito, no? Non say how you say
See,
that.
just purees and
Not exactly pure, but it's
see.
nice and soft. So now we leave it here.
Okay. Do we add
Little
anything else to
wine.
this? or-
At the moment, no. We've got to add all that,
Okay.
but after this is done, so this has to poach a bit.
Okay, so we
Okay.
leave this there for a few minutes, 10
Yeah.
minutes or so.
Simmer for about
That's it.
10
To cook.
minutes, no?
Yeah, we'll cover it.
These we can leave there now because they're all cooked
See,
already.
they're
They've
all
been
cooked.
steamed.
The clams are all cooked already. We cannot overdo it. If not, they come out from the shelf.
So we can turn it off and leave
Um,
it to
see,
sit to one
see,
side.
it's
Doesn't
off.
matter if they go cold because they're going to be added back
No,
into
no.
this.
Of course not. It's off.
Yes, it's off.
That's it.
Okay,
problem.
we'll check back then.
The sauce is almost done, but to give it that creamy consistency, we blend our tomate refrito to get all those flavors working together.
The sauce with the tomato and the onions and the garlic, it's all strained and everything. We'll add all the ingredients there. The ground almonds
Okay.
and the ground walnuts.
The ground walnuts are quite oily, you know, as well. When you
Yeah,
can tell as soon as you start.
and it makes it a bit darker, the sauce, because with the almonds only, it doesn't get too dark. And the anchovies and the fried bread and the parsley,
Which we blend all together.
we already blended it. And that's the especie for the caracoles.
We're adding, what, about 2 tablespoons there?
More
3
or less.
tablespoons?
It all depends. We can always add up a little bit later if it's not. Better make it too spicy, not from the start.
What we forgot to mention is that also in with the parsley and everything, you added the cayenne peppers, huh?
Yeah.
Which you added about 2 or 3 cayenne
Yeah.
peppers in there.
That's a wine, white wine. That's it. Everything's there.
So the sauce goes from a red, sort of orangey red colour to sort of brown,
Yeah.
very earthy, nutty.
Now what we're going to do is pass the clams here.
Okay.
Once it boils up a bit so that the flavor all gets together. Just leave it like that. We cover it for 2 or 3 minutes only. Now we put the clams here without
Right.
the
water, no?
water, just to make sure everything is nice and clean. It
Okay.
hasn't got any sand or dirty ones. So just pass it on here because this is what we're going to put in the sauce. So now we're going to get the pot and
Yep.
pour some, only a bit,
Okay.
just a bit. That's the water that were inside the clams,
Yeah.
so that we get the flavor.
But just a little bit, we don't have to put
Just
too
a
much.
little bit, if not it's going to be too watery.
It's like a stock, really.
Yeah, and now we just dump
Pour
them
this
in.
strain there.
Just straight in.
Very careful.
That's it. We switch off the hob. We just mix it up so that they all pick up the flavor from the sauce because the clams are already cooked and the sauce is made.
That's another amazing dish for our feast. Those clams are truly mouth-watering. Our next dish is Mum's decadent tagine. The mix of spices and delicious cuts of lamb are sure to bring in the new year in a big way.
Okay, so I thought lamb tagine, something different. We're all fed up of the Christmas menu. Something different, something nice and spicy, flavour.
No offense, Gran, here, because we love your food for Christmas.
Yes,
But
but by the time of New Year's
No
Eve, it's
offense.
like, that's it, you know, no more turkey, please. So, first of all, we need to prepare the
I'll
lamb.
chop the lamb.
And we need to marinate it, but first we're going to cut the lamb. So,
I'll
Mum,
start.
if you can do that. And obviously we have to prepare all the spices and ingredients that we're going to use to marinate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you chop the onions, I'll chop the garlic. So I just want to say that this recipe was given to me by a good friend of mine, also very popular in the GBC, Henry Sacramento. As everyone knows, he loves Morocco and the tagine is one of his recipes from his book. He very kindly gave me a tagine dish when I moved into my house then, and the recipe book, and I've just adapted this recipe a little bit to my own, tweaked it a little bit. So
Because I remember growing up and having the tagine
yes,
quite a lot.
everyone's favourite.
Christmas and Christmas Eve is usually the turkey, the chicken,
Yeah.
the ham, all that sort of thing. So we've chosen lamb this time because it's
Yes.
just different to everything that we've
Exactly.
had in the past few days. So Granny, what is it? That sort of lamb that what part of the lamb is that you're cutting up?
I have the part of the leg, boneless,
Vale.
and cut into big chunks.
You can ask the butchers
Yeah,
to
they cut
debone
it for you if
you.
you want to, but I told him to cut it very big and I could chop it the sizes I wanted.
Depends how many people you are cooking for and how you want to cut the pieces as well, no? I suppose.
See, I've heard that with the bone, it's a bit more flavour as well, no?
It
But
does.
if you don't want to faff around then with having bones all over your dish, you can just have it deboned.
This dish, you can actually make it with chicken, you can do it with beef as
So you
well.
can adapt it to whatever really you prefer. So the base of this dish is going to be the onions, the garlic, and
Yes.
I can see we've got some ginger as well. That's going to be the really powerful
We've got
bit.
the, we've got the ginger.
Yeah.
We've got some spices as well, which we're going to be adding. Chili flakes as well. Some saffron threads.
It's quite expensive, but that will give it the
flavour.
flavour that it needs.
Absolutely. And also some salt and pepper, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're going to put something different as well. We're going to put a Moroccan spice.
We've got some ras el hanout there,
Yeah.
which is like a mixture of a lot of different spices.
Yeah.
Some which you've mentioned already, but a few extra bits as well.
Yeah.
This dish is going to be full of flavours.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to marinate the lamb. You want to do that, Mum?
Are we
1
gonna mix?
teaspoon of each.
And we mix it all in a bowl or here, straight here?
Mix it all straight into the lamb. 1 teaspoon of each.
So what are we adding in there?
We're adding the Moroccan spice.
Yeah, the ras el hanout.
That's right. The chili flakes.
Okay, so it's going to be a spicy dish.
It is going to be a spicy dish,
Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
We're going to put some cumin.
Yeah.
A teaspoon also?
Yeah, everything a teaspoon. And some paprika.
Pimentón dulce, or is it going to be the spicy one or the smoked one?
It's the smoked one.
Vale.
And we also have obviously some salt and pepper.
Yeah.
As well. And just a few threads of saffron, Mum, because that's too.
See, to overpower.
And then we have the chopped onions and the garlic, which is also going to go
In there at the
in
same
there,
time.
and some oil as well. The one thing I almost forgot, and this is definitely something we need to add, is some ginger. So we're going to grate some ginger.
Grate the
You want to
ginger
do that, actually?
Should I? I can do something.
Yeah. Make yourself useful.
This is all done.
I mean, if you don't have fresh ginger, you can also use ground ginger.
Now, which do you prefer, the ground or the fresh?
There's nothing like fresh, obviously.
Good.
I try to use, fresh ingredients always if I can. And sometimes you can't get them, but if you can, obviously.
Mind your fingers.
But the good thing is nowadays, if you want to get any fresh ingredients, the plaza or the supermarket, anything, any of those places have all the vegetables, all the fruits, all the spices that you need.
So what we've done is we've basically put all the spices in. And now we're also going to add some coriander. So half of the coriander, if you want to chop that one.
I will.
It's like a bunch, really, of the coriander.
Yeah. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add olive oil. Yeah, mix it.
First, see, if we put the oil in straight away,
Yeah.
it won't get all the flavour, it'll become like a coat, no?
It's about 1 small glass. I think it's about right.
Should be enough.
Okay, now this I put a lot of oil in my food, yeah?
I've got to mix it well.
So, Justin, if you want to start off the hob,
Okay.
heat it up.
What
This
temperature
is all-
more or less are we putting there?
Like a medium temperature.
This is all mixed up now, so you just
Okay, so now now
add
we
the
have
other
to.
ingredients. I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, we need to add the garlic.
Okay.
Put it all in,
Magical device here to scoop it all up.
and the lovely chopped onions.
All the onions.
Yep,
I'm just going to use my hands for this part
much
because they're
better.
very big.
Definitely. Okay, so we mix it all up. So now we're going to brown the lamb,
Yeah.
and I think I'm going to let you hold this
Why is it
because
heavy?
it's quite heavy, so it's more of a
Okay.
man job. Put half of the quantity in there.
Yeah.
We're going to do half a batch and then another half, otherwise, it's not going to brown properly. So that's about right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So we just want to sear the outside of the meat
That's it.
first.
Yeah. Once that's done, we take it out.
Yeah.
and we add the next batch until everything is brown, okay?
Okay.
And then we put it all back into the casserole again.
Right, so let's leave this for a minute to sear and we'll come back and check with it.
We've browned all the lamb. We're just going to add back the first batch that we browned. Everything goes back into the casserole.
Yeah.
Good.
And now we're ready for the next step.
Now it's the actual stewing part.
Yes. So we're going to add the tomato triturado,
Yeah.
800 grams. So this is
400.
400. So we're adding 2 of that. And we're also going to add the cinnamon sticks. We need the orange rind. If you can, just with a knife,
Yeah.
just a couple of
The
them.
entire orange or?
No, just a couple of pieces.
Okay.
That would give it a really, really nice flavour. I think that's enough, I think.
Yeah. So three little, about half an orange.
So we've got all of the spices, almost all of the ingredients. We still have just a few more to add towards the end of the cooking. But for now, you have to let it simmer for about an hour and a half, depending on how long the lamb cooks. And check it once in a while and move it once in a while so it doesn't settle in the bottom of the pan.
Okay, so we'll come back and check on it and see how it's doing.
Yeah. Okay, so now the lamb is quite tender. We're
Yeah.
going to go into the next step. And the next step is to add the prunes with the honey. We're going to simmer that first.
Okay.
So
Stoneless prunes.
stoneless prunes. We're going to add approximately about 6 tablespoons of honey.
So this is going to give this a really
This
sweet
is-
touch, this.
This is definitely the touch for the tagine. This is the part that I love because I'm a sweet tooth. So.
Are you chocolate, sweets, anything sugary?
Yes.
It must run in the family, no? Because Granny's a big
does.
sweet tooth as well.
Got
A
it.
tortilla pastas
I
last
blame
year.
her. I blame her.
Exactly. A tortilla pastas last year with a hit. Everyone loved
Okay,
it.
so that's about 6 tablespoons. We're going to add about 15 or 20 here. We're just going to add some water and we're going to switch it on
Yeah.
and start simmering this. Okay?
So just wait for the water to start boiling away.
Yeah. So the honey, the prunes and the water which we've added has been simmering now for 10 minutes. And now we're going to add this to the lamb carefully so it doesn't splash on you. And if you can just
This is like
pass,
caramel, that's searing hot.
this is going to give it the beautiful flavor. We add the rest of the coriander and just another 10 minutes
Yeah.
and this is ready.
And we just leave this finishing off to stew in here.
Yeah, just going to leave it there and
Okay.
we're going to leave it open so that the
Reduces.
sauce reduces a little bit. Okay?
Very good. So we're going to wait for this to finish and then start on Mama's dish.
Yeah.
Good, I'm excited.
Don't go away. This feast isn't over yet. I'll see you in part 2.
Granny's going to take over now. So Mama, what are we doing?
We're going to do some stuffed caramales.
My favourites.
Yeah, I know. We're going to start chopping the tomatoes and the onions
Yeah.
and the garlic.
So making a refrito to start off with.
That's it. We do the refrito, no peppers, only
Okay.
tomatoes, onion and garlic. The tomatoes have been blanched already and peeled, so now we're going to chop them. We want to chop the tomatoes.
So to blanch them, basically, we just put them in hot
In
water.
hot water, cover it for a few
Yeah.
minutes, and then it just peels off.
Okay, fast.
Very, very easy.
This is the first Granny letting me do something in the kitchen with her, by the way.
Why no? Otherwise, we just stand around and watch.
I probably don't do it to her satisfaction, but
It's okay. They
So
take
that's
the
the
Mickey
only-
out of me.
The kitchen is all hers. When Mama Lotties in the kitchen, stay well clear.
Well, I've got a small kitchen. There's no room for anybody else.
So this dish is something that we've had a lot in Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's a
Fish
change
sauce,
for
fish
the
tea.
whole lot of meat that we're going to have the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So we do the Calamares stuffed, or we do paellas, fried squids, all those things that's fish related.
Yeah, but so it's very good. It fits in as well for New Year's because everyone's so tired of all the meat,
Also,
the roast and everything. That having a
That's it.
seafood dish is quite nice.
it's just changing it.
Yeah. Is there any right or wrong way of doing the stuffing? That
No, it's stuffing. I do it my way. Some other people might do something different,
Yeah.
but
But this is you've adapted it. You learnt it from your mother.
this
no?
is
Doing
the
these
way
dishes.
I've always done it.
But your mum teach you how to do the calamari relleno, or you just sort of invented
No,
it as you went along?
I just went along with it. In my mum's time, we didn't have so many luxuries.
The tomatoes are chopped now. Do you
Yeah.
need me to chop the garlic or?
Yeah, if they're big, at least 2 or 3. Well, we need some more for the stuffing also, so you might as well peel some more.
At this point is where I just stand around and make sure I oversee the kitchen. So you always say that you have a small kitchen, which is why you push us out. But if you had a bigger kitchen, would you welcome the help?
I don't know, I would have to think about it.
No,
I'm
no
so
chance,
used to
no
doing
chance,
it on my
no
own
chance.
for many years now. I would have to think about
No,
it.
mama, no one gets in the way of the mama in the kitchen.
No.
Oof.
In a minute now I'm going to start crying.
Why,
But not of emotion. But not of emotion.
We've had quite a few troublesome onions this episode.
Yeah.
I made it through the last 10 ones without crying at all. This
No,
one's
but
got
this
us-
one, they're a bit strong.
What we can see on the side is already the calamares, which we chopped up earlier.
See,
So
those,
that's the ligotas that you chopped out. So the tentacles that you just separate from the body, cleaned
That's-
everything out.
that's it.
Anyone doesn't want to faff around and clean the calamares at home, the fishmonger is always happy to do it.
Yeah.
So just make sure you ask them when you buy them, just say, please clean them for me, because
Which is
They
what I
will,
do.
yeah,
they will
I
do
do
it.
it. Well.
They will do it.
They will do it. They should
Yeah.
do it, yeah.
They're very nice people.
Otherwise you're going to get ink everywhere if you're not careful. I have
Mm.
had that happen
Oh
before.
my God.
But you clean all the fish yourself.
Yeah.
You prefer it, no? You enjoy it.
And before I used to do more. Nowadays I don't do so much.
Mum, you don't like cleaning fish.
No, no, I get the fishmonger to do it.
I know it's the best thing to do.
Oh, no, sometimes they do it for me also. If I'm in a bit of a hurry,
Yeah.
so I just tell them to clean it for me, and that's it. So now want to put the oil
Very good.
and switch on the hob,
So olive oil, we're adding just
just the bottom part of the pot. Can I have the saffron threads, please? Because this I need to toast a bit with the. Before
this is
I
what to flavour the oil.
yeah,
no? That's good.
just a tiny bit.
And the saffron threads, if anyone has trouble finding them, those are
The
available
public
everywhere.
market where they sell the olives.
Yeah.
You get them there. The saffron was already been toasted, so now we're going to put the onions and the garlic. So that's for the refrito.
There's something comforting about that sizzle.
Yeah, stir it.
Well, the refrito is the basic
And
of
see,
many dishes.
All the Mediterranean dishes, and that we do.
Just cover it for a bit. Got the lid there. And then we've got already the tomatoes chopped.
Yes.
Now what I need to do is chop the parsley, just a few sprigs.
So you have a really good chopping technique for
Yeah.
this.
I just fold it so that it chops better.
But the most important thing in the kitchen is sharp knives.
Yeah. If you don't have sharp knives, you probably cut yourselves.
See, you have
I
more
know
chance
it.
of cutting yourself with a blunt knife than with a
Yeah,
sharp
because
one.
you've got to push more, and this way it's just doing it. See? That's going to be for the stuffing, so we put it there in the bowl.
The sauce is just going to be the basic tomate refrito sauce. It's not going to
See,
have any
see?
nuts.
No.
Because you can also have it with the sort of
See, you can do
almondy.
that's it.
sauce
But
on it.
that we're going to do for the almejas. So we're not going to do both the same. That's the close. That's for the stuffing. So
Right.
We've got to chop it
So
very,
we
very.
use 2 cloves in the sauce,
Yeah.
and we're using 2 or 3 for the
No,
stuffing.
2 or 3. No, 3 is too much. It's going to
Oh,
be too
2.
garlicky. I only have 2 here, and it all depends until I've chopped the first one. We don't know.
So, Mum, have you made calamari relleno before?
I think I've made it once, to be honest. It's not one of the dishes that I make. I prefer it when Mama Lottie makes it.
It comes out really tender, huh?
I know, she's just got that touch, you know.
It's better because you find it already done.
That too.
But it's a good dish to make as a dinner party because you can make several, and it's better to buy them in bulk
And if
than
you
just the one.
Two big ones,
Yeah.
then you can slice it and put it in a dish all along sliced, and you put the sauce on the side. You can put the tomatoes in then, Justin.
I'm doing something.
Yeah. No, don't worry, you're gonna help. That's it. And I put the salt. Can you pass the salt, please? That bowl there.
Yes, mother.
That's it.
Where?
No, it's okay.
Pinch of salt, guys. Huh? So,
Well, I never said a pinch of salt.
No,
I said I put the salt. I'll leave there to.
that says there's a stew away.
That's a stew.
So now
At
the
the
relleno
moment,
is your basic relleno, which is the parsley,
the parsley,
the garlic.
the cheese, the breadcrumbs.
The breadcrumbs. You are very picky with the breadcrumbs that you like to have it
I
freshly
do mine.
freshly
Yes,
done ones.
I don't do the dry bread. We've done the garlic and the parsley. We chopped it. Now you pass on the breadcrumbs and the grated cheese. We put it here on the side.
What kind of cheese?
Any cheese, cheddar. Usually that's the one I use, or the Edam, the hard Edam. It all depends.
So the stuffing is quite basic. We're not going to put any ham, any meat,
No,
or
no,
anything.
no, because it's for fish.
It's
so
of your very traditional one.
that's it. So we just do the eggs, the garlic, the parsley, the breadcrumbs, and the cheese.
So
And
is
then
anything-
we add the squids. I need some salt, Lorraine, please. Just a tiny bit.
So the tomatoes are already softening and
Yeah, we need it to soften a bit
they're
more.
sort of dissolving or pureeing, which is.
Yeah,
We're not going to add any tomate triturado or anything
No,
to
no,
this.
no,
It's
no,
going to
no.
be just
Just
what's
fresh.
here.
All fresh.
But it gives a different taste as well. So your sauces are very like this sort of fresh with all tomatoes.
Oh,
or
yes,
you tend
yes.
to.
no,
you
no.
don't use any tinned tomatoes.
No, 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 no. The tin tomatoes, I use it for if I do the rosto, for example. I'm going to put the chopped tentacles of the squids in.
And just mix it up in there with everything.
Then mix it up here.
Okay.
So,
You season this with a bit of salt as well, huh?
see, I already put the salt before. Now we put the cheese. Now I'm going to put the breadcrumbs, which I do. I don't buy the stuff from those packets because they're a bit dry. And I like it to be nice and moist.
So is this like a bread roll that you've left out for a day or two, or is it
Or
like completely
from
fresh
the
from the
same
shop?
day. I buy rolls and take the crust off and do it. Obviously, you can't grate it with the grater because it'll all crumble into big pieces. So I use the lundo tre.
Exactly.
I'm gonna add another egg.
And this is a good thing about making the breadcrumbs, you can freeze it. No,
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference.
See, you have to freeze it because if you don't, it'll become green because it's fresh bread. But if you freeze it and you forget to bring it out, it doesn't matter. You just bang the plastic bag which you have it in,
Yeah.
just hit it on the counter and it will all become, and you can use it immediately. And the same with the cheese.
So is there a judgment to the sort of texture that you want for this consistency
You
of
can't-
runniness?
You can't
or-
have it too dry because it'll be very hard.
Yeah.
But you can't have it too runny because it won't set once you stuff the caramales.
So keep an eye out so we know when it's perfect.
Yeah. And now when we start stuffing the caramales, we don't stuff it completely
Right, okay.
because,
It's important to know that.
yeah, because if you do, they'll just burst and everything comes out.
Because
They
it
shrink?
expands, no?
The caramales shrinks and the stuffing expands.
So you've got to find the right balance.
So I always do about 3/4
Okay.
full so that when it expands, it's got room.
Have you had a few disasters then happen?
The first time, yes.
Exploded in the oven?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's just that the stuffing comes out and it mixes with the sauce. It's not that, but
Well,
doesn't look
se va a
very
comer
nice.
igual.
See, you're gonna eat it anyway. So I need the toothpicks, please. I'll do one so that you can see more or less the caramales, the squids,
Yeah.
are turned inside out, so that I can clean it better. And anyway, when it starts cooking, it'll close. The other way, it'll open up,
Ah.
and it's better. So just hold it here by the side.
So
You
you just
don't need a lot.
cup it open and then...
Yeah, so that it can go in properly.
I want to get as much of this, of equal amount of the sort of stuffing and the tentacles
Yeah,
in
it's
there
all mixed up,
all together.
so it'll go. We just close it.
And that's going to go in an oven dish, no?
Yeah, we're going to do it today in the oven, but you
Right.
can also do it in the pressure cooker.
Oh, so the stuffing won't seep out of the
No,
calamares.
it won't, it won't. No
Okay.
problem at all. Already put the bay leaf in. Now
Yeah.
just a bit of saffron. I'm not going to get it with my hands, I don't want to stain them. Just a tiny bit to give it a bit of colouring.
Es el colorante
Sí, de colorante de toda la vida.
de toda la vida, yeah.
That's it.
Just
So-
a little bit.
Just a little bit, because it's got already the threads from
Oh, it's true. Yeah, yeah.
the saffron.
Now, there's two ways of doing the sauce. You can leave it sort of a bit thicker, or you can pasta brasso and completely
Put it smooth.
and everything. Yeah.
Now we're going to put them on the dish,
So that just lay them out neatly together, side by
Yeah.
side.
and then we cover it with the sauce. If you mind pouring it, Justin,
I'll
hold
pour
it on the
okay.
side,
Yeah.
and I'll spread it over with a spoon so that we cover everything. That's it. Good.
Qué bueno.
Doesn't it cover entire?
Yeah.
This entirely.
No, because now we cover with the foil
Right.
so that they don't dry up, and then at the very end we remove the foil once they are cooked.
So now that we covered it in foil, Mama, what are we doing with this?
We put it in the oven
Okay.
and we leave it about half an hour more or less.
At 200.
We bring it out, we prick it. If it's nice and tender, we remove the foil
Yeah.
so that it just go a bit golden.
Okay,
That's
I'm
it.
excited.
And it's ready.
Okay.
Dish,
So the time has come. Let's
and I
check things
hope
out.
they are okay.
Right.
Let's take a peek.
Ooh,
That looks really nice.
that looks amazing.
It's nice,
And the lovely and
Wow.
tender.
nice and tender.
Perfect.
So if you want, you can put it just 2 minutes.
We put it back in the oven.
You can put it for 2 minutes or leave it as it is. It doesn't matter. Or
Okay.
you can switch off the oven and keep it in so that it keeps warm.
So that's what we'll do then. We'll put this in the oven
Yeah.
and we'll finish off with the dessert, which you're going to take charge of.
Of course.
It's going to be your famous fruit trifle.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that.
That's all our savoury masterpieces done. Now it's time to satisfy that sweet tooth with a tremendous trifle. I hope you left room for something sweet.
Dessert time.
Yep.
My favourite time and Mum's favourite bits because all
yummy,
the
yum.
sweet stuff.
It's not like it's proper trifle because it doesn't contain any jelly and it's
Right.
not custard. It's flan with some boudoirs and fruit all mixed up
With a special touch que tú le haces
Yeah.
un poquito.
with the anise. That we do. So we start by heating up the milk.
Okay.
We don't put all of it,
About half a litre of milk.
half a liter, but we save some to mix for the mixture because
Mm-hmm.
we've got to put it in again all together.
Vale.
That's, you can open it, mix it there. I've got the mixer there, the whisk. And we can also do this. You can
So when
open
I put in
it.
this,
Lorraine, that's a caramel for the bottom.
which is already part of the package, that you can buy the
Yeah,
flat.
yeah,
So this is a bit of a cheat recipe just to make things quicker.
of course. Because by the time we do the sugar dough, it's going to be a long time.
Exactly.
Because we've got to be very careful that it doesn't bend, and this is already done.
No, and after you've made all those different recipes, yeah, you haven't got the energy to make any big
That's
desserts.
it. That's it. This that we pour here,
Ah.
and with a whisk, we don't want any lumps. And if you want, we can switch, and I'll cut the fruit,
Yeah, if you
or
want.
you can cut it yourself. I don't mind.
So large chunks or small chunks?
No, not very big, because you don't want a big chunk in your mouth, no?
So this
Relax.
recipe, you just decided to do one day out of the
No,
blue?
this was actually given to me many, many, many months ago
Yeah.
by a friend.
Ah,
And I changed the fruits, but it was all a recipe that she gave me.
it's a bit of a traditional, or based on the traditional sort of British trifle, just we've adapted it to suit.
See, it's different because the trifle, you've got the custard and
You got the jelly, and everything.
and everything. This doesn't contain any of that. It's a different kind of dessert.
It's a Lottie trifle.
Well, we can call it a Lottie trifle because I do it, but actually the recipe was given to me by a very good friend. See, a traditional Gibraltarian dish. Everyone does it differently,
Un poquito
no?
British, un poquito...
That's it. Now, the milk is sitting up with the flan.
With the powder that we added.
With the powder, yes.
Okay.
So it's got to...
How long will that stay in there? When we know it's ready?
Until it started to thicken.
Right.
So, and in the meantime, your mum is putting the boudoirs there.
So we're just
put a
layering
layer.
the boudoirs on top
You just
of
put
the...
a layer and then the fruit,
Right.
all mixed up.
The caramel first.
The caramel first, so when you turn it over, it's got a bit of caramel on the top.
Right. Well, I've chopped these up and I haven't been eating them as well, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we chop the
They're nice.
bananas.
Okay. Now the peaches we've got here, what do I do with these?
The peaches,
One layer is done.
we have to cut them in little bits also.
Okay.
And the syrup we need, so we can put the syrup there if you want to drain the syrup there. Got to put the anise. And we've got to soak the boudoirs with that. At the very end, we put the flan.
So it's a whole tin of little peaches.
Well, you don't need the whole, depends on the size of the dish that you are making. Any leftover fruit, you can eat it on its own. If you want a blob of ice cream,
No, but it's nice to have some fresh fruit after having such heavy meals, such savoury meals. You get this really fresh
yeah.
taste at the end. And even though it's got the kick of anise as well, which is going to
Yeah.
give it that extra sweetness.
I think we've got enough.
And you can use sort of the fruits, you can adapt to anything that's seasonal at the time.
Of course, if you want pears, you put pears or whatever fruit you like. This is more or less like the one I always use,
Yeah.
but that's it.
But I like strawberries anyway, so I'm not complaining.
I like to make it with pears actually.
So you've got a nice mixture here of bananas, peaches and
Yeah.
strawberries.
We're putting the fruit on top of the boudoirs.
Okay. So it's one layer of fruit, 2 layers of boudoirs.
That's it. Unless you've got a very high dish and you want to make it, but then it's going to be too chunky by the end of the day when you cut
So
it.
usually when you make a big sort of bowl for
a big,
10 of us,
a
at least
big
more.
round one, yes, of course. Pour some, just a little bit, not to make it too strong.
right.
We mix
So this
it.
is a shot of anise.
When you know me.
Sometimes the
it.
hand slips.
Now you can put the boudoirs on top.
Vale. But I was saying was you're used to making big desserts because
Of
usually
course, I
in the
make it
festive,
for the whole
Exactly.
family, no?
But usually in the
Everyone
festive
enjoys it.
period, you've had more than just the main family at home. You've had the brothers, the cousins, the
Before, yes,
The
many
Vecino
years
next
ago, many years ago, we used to invite all the brothers and sisters and brothers-in-law and the children.
About
And
40 of us, Mum.
The last time we did it for the whole family, we were 40 and no room in the house. Some of them had to sit on the beds.
So I can't imagine how much food to cook for 40 people. I mean,
Well, 2 or 3 days.
A lot.
yeah.
2 or 3 days, but now we're going to pour the syrup with the
Right.
anise over the boudoirs, so
Okay.
to soak them,
So just pour it on top and
Yeah.
that.
so that it doesn't stay very dry.
When you go to eat it, it's quite soft.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that crunch.
No,
from the
it's
bars.
soggy.
So waiting for the flan to thicken, but more or less, how long will that take to?
No, not long, about 10 minutes more or less, but usually
But you can start to tell, always, you move the pan,
see,
you can see that
you
it's already
see,
thickening.
you see, it's thickening. To make it quick, I do it in the microwave.
Vale. It's like a minute, 2 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah, just hit the milk and then I pour the mixture into there, mix it, put it a minute,
Yeah.
mix
You
it
use what-
again, that's it.
And you use what you call the flancino.
Yeah.
Which is the sort of, you add the extra sugar to it.
Yeah, because that one is a bit softer.
Vale.
So that's okay then. I think
Take
this
note.
is okay. Now we're going to pour the flan,
Right.
the liquid there, all over.
So it doesn't matter if it's hot, going on to cold fruits
No,
and going
it
on to
doesn't
cold
matter
everything.
because anyway, once it cools down out of the fridge,
Right.
we'll have to put it in the fridge to settle.
Okay.
It has to set. It's not like the custard that you make it thick from the very beginning. This one sets and it becomes thick once it's in the fridge.
And for that reason, we made one already yesterday.
That's it,
So
because
that we can show what it looks like
That's it.
set.
because if we do it, we have to wait for this
Good. Well, we'll let you finish that, and then
Okay.
we'll have a look at the finished one.
Okay then.
To cap off all these delicious dishes, I'm gonna whip up a delicious bubbly champagne cocktail to wash it all down.
Well, the food looks so amazingly fantastic, and because it's New Year's, we can't have a New Year's evening without a finishing of champagne. So I'm gonna make a champagne cocktail which is a bit different. It's gonna be, the base is gonna be a pomegranate and elderflower with some champagne or cava. You can find Prosecco if you want, you can have Prosecco. Some lime, and then I've got some frozen fruit which is basically gonna finish it off, keep it cold, and just sort of float to the top and
Bueno.
feel
It
nice.
will act as the ice cubes.
As the ice cubes, basically, yeah. And it's gonna be a bit pink, should be nice, different.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so first thing we need to do is cut some lime and squeeze it. So you can squeeze some lime in there first for me. I'm then gonna squeeze some lime in here,
Okay.
but thank you very much. Before we even start, I'm gonna rim the glasses. So I'm gonna just turn them upside down in the lime and then do the same in the sugar. So you can have a bit of a
Sweet thing.
sweet
Nice.
side.
It looks nice.
I think it classes it up a little bit if you do that to your glasses. Okay, and now with the remaining lime, we'll
looks
squeeze some in the
nice.
bottom. So this is something a bit different to the ordinary champagne that everyone has at midnight. You know, you can have it as a dessert, little cocktail, or not everyone is a fan of champagne, so basic. So you can have it, it's a bit different.
Little bit of a difference.
Yeah, to this we're going to add the pomegranate and elderflower cordial. You can have elderflower on its own, but this is going to be quite sweet, so we're going to add a bit at the bottom.
Nice colour as well.
So that's why it's going to make it.
Tastes nice because they are lovely.
Pomegranate passion fruit is my favourite. Unfortunately, I don't have any passion fruits. So you eat them with a bowl,
I know.
with some sugar.
Yeah, lots of sugar.
Another fun part is to cork the bottle.
Are you putting the fruit afterwards?
The fruit goes last. So hopefully I don't
Break
there we go,
the
break anything.
lamp.
There we go.
That's it.
And we'll just pour this in here.
Oh, that looks lovely.
And we're just gonna get some frozen summer fruits that you can get from the shop. It's blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and we're just gonna add these in there, sort of
Gently.
But the reason I've added it, sort of the champagne there, so it froths, and the fruit, I'm just sort of plugging it, is because we want the cordial to mix in there as well. If you make a bit more faff in it, it will sort of mix as the bubbles rise. And that is pretty much it. So one for you. One for you.
Thank you.
So, salud, cheers.
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 All right. Yeah, nice.
Actually, this is very nice.
I'm glad.
Yep.
So I think it's time to try all the meals, have a nice sit-down dinner, and we can have a bit of sips of this
Definitely.
This is lovely.
finish off. I know you're going to make it this year, aren't you, for New Year's? There's a bit of a tip for you. Impress the mama. Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Well, we made it. 5 amazing courses fit for a stunning New Year's feast. And after all that hard work comes the best part, tasting all this delicious food.
Bueno, everything's served up deliciously.
Yep.
I think it's time that we dig in because, tengo hambre.
Y yo también.
Yeah,
It's
Good.
been a long day, but worth it, I
A
think.
lot of cooking, but now we've got to do the eating.
It's been good. This is the best part. This is the best part. Okay,
Yeah.
we've got to try it. Shall we try the almejas first?
Yes, yes.
Good. These are the walnut, almond-based famous dish of yours, which everyone loves. Oh, no, como solo quitas, se la come sola.
Yeah,
Qué bueno.
Sí, I
It's
know.
delicious, eh?
She'll eat it on her own.
I don't mind you having it here, don't worry.
No.
It's nice, eh?
It is
It's
nice.
lovely. Está para
Because it was very-
chuparte los dedos, ¿no?
There's a bit of a kick with that. There's a little bit of a kick with it. It's not
The
extremely
wine and the
nutty that
chili.
it overpowers it, really.
The wine and the chili.
The wine is the touch. The
bueno.
wine is that sweetness.
Spice.
And the chili stays there.
Delicious.
And they're really meaty, which is great.
Yeah.
So that's great as a starter for anyone who wants to make it as a starter. It doesn't take very long. Well, it's very simple as they saw the recipe. So I think it's time that we move on to the main dish.
Yep.
The Calamares and the Tagine. So I think Mum really wants to try the Calamares this time.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, we start the Calamares with itself, which is the
With
tentacles.
the normal stuffing that
The
we do in
normal stuffing.
Gibraltar.
Simply
Apart
done.
from the little tentacles cut in little pieces.
Exactly. Very simply done, and all it takes is the stuffing and then put it in the oven. So
And so tender as well.
it's great, it's
Lovely.
really soft.
And nice and smooth.
Really lovely. Beautiful.
Oh, it melts. And it went melt in the mouth.
Delish.
And it's not an overpowering fishy taste.
No,
Bit
because
more of
it's
that
not
one.
a strong flavour.
And you can serve it, we served it with a side of rice. You can serve it with potatoes, you can serve it with whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we served it with
Chips or mash.
some rice which you fried with some garlic first. So I think we should finish off with the tagine, yeah? So it's the
Yes.
lamb tagine with the prunes, with all the Moroccan spices,
I'll cut
with the
some
ras el hanout. You
pieces.
can
And
really,
the
really
honey.
smell the Moroccan spices there, the cumin and just everything's
the
really
honey
powerful,
also.
yeah?
One little tip about the tagine. If you marinate it the night before, the flavors are more intense.
Already
of
the
course.
meat before, yeah. Well,
So
you need it over more hours.
You can
need
do
it,
it,
so
yeah,
chill
you
out.
can do it 2 hours before or the night before. I mean, obviously we did it today so everyone could see.
So you, is
But,
that
Really nice.
Se va a comer tú sola, no? So this is all the prunes as well mixed up in there, which is going to add the sweetness to it, apart from just the spice that we added.
Very nice.
This brings back a lot of memories though.
Yeah.
So it's time for the sweet bit now. It's the dessert, the custard or flan dessert trifle that you
flan.
prepare,
The flan with the boudoirs
Yeah.
and the fruit.
and the anise. Don't
And
forget
the
the
anise. No, the anise goes mixed up with the juice.
But you can
It's
swap,
optional.
yeah, and you can swap it for brandy as well. No, if you want
You
to.
can, or you can leave it without any alcohol. If children are going to eat it,
Yeah, but it's a
You
festive
can.
season. You have to
So
have
shall
some.
I go for it?
yeah.
You cut it, sell it for us. Bueno, I'm
You
going to
see the boudoirs, they are soaked with the anise and the flan.
Qué bueno. This is beautiful.
This is really, really soft. The boudoirs, they do not feel as crunchy as when you first
No.
had them.
Because
Everything
it's
is soaked
soaked
up.
up. It's soaked up.
The
everything.
peach juice makes it really sweet as well, because there was no extra added sugar to it.
No.
So
And the anise is not very strong tampoco.
No,
That's it.
I used the sweet one instead of the dry one.
bueno, Mama, thank you very, very much for being on the show with me.
You're welcome.
I've had a
You're
lovely
welcome.
day, and I think my New Year's resolution is going to be to cook more for you instead of you cooking for me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try
I'll
and
hold
stick
you
to
to
that.
it.
Everyone's going to hold me to it. I know, everyone's heard it now. That's it. I think it's time to say Happy New Year to everyone at home, and thank you very much for joining us. So have a Happy New Year, everyone,
Happy New Year.
and I'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers.